Now, on the special requests regarding the environmental chapter, it more or less is key to keeping the same that we have today. Iceland is a special case in the sense that we were isolated from Europe for centuries, and we survived through dark, sometimes cold and difficult centuries by using every possible means to survive. It means that we developed certain traditional techniques to utilize nature that may not be to the likings of everyone on the continent. But this is now a part of the traditions of Iceland, and even though it doesn't matter in terms of economy, it matters as a part of our life. You could even say quality of life. So this is something that, for example, relates to the utilization of bird products, collecting down, and of course, then there is the little matter of the whales. I think I have answered more.
The regional policy.
Yes, the regional policy. Well, of course, 1/3 of the EU's budget goes to the regional matters. And as I said in my introductory remarks, it will depend on how well the Icelanders play their cards, how well they argue for their suitability to make requests for funds to develop the countryside. And it is absolutely clear in my mind that we have all the arguments that merit requests for money that will matter for the rebuilding, or let's say for the consolidating of the rural areas in Iceland. But one thing can also be said for the European Union. When it formulates policy, sometimes it takes time, but they also always carry it out, contrary to some governments that even I have been part of in the past, or governments in other countries. And you can look at countries like some of the rural parts of Ireland that I happen to know, and in Portugal that I happen also to know. The rural assistance of the EU really made the difference for the survival of these regions. And I go as far to say that the Gaelic language in parts of Ireland was saved by this type of assistance.
In negotiating with some of our candidate countries, I refer occasionally to the big elephant in the room. We have these issues occasionally. In the case of Iceland, I have to be careful. I have to refer to a big animal, a big mammal in the room. That is so.
Don't refer to the small ones.
No. I know what you're referring to. Now, on the environment, what is important there that the European Union is not proposing any closing benchmark, as it considers that Iceland has reached a reasonable level of alignment with the acquis in this field, and also as far the administrative capacity, we consider them to be at a high level to implement the policy in this field. However, where we have a certain differences is in the areas of nature protection and also climate change, and those two areas will require further considerations, and that's one of those main reasons for those additional requests. Concerning the gestures and incentives on the very first question, the accession process with candidate countries is not based on the gestures and incentive. It's based on an open, transparent process where we judge the candidate countries based on its merit and their good work. It's a process which is, as I said, very transparent and inclusive, where we only encourage candidate countries to involve as many stakeholders as possible in this process. and thus building the conditions for the process to continue seamlessly even after eventual elections being held in the candidate country. The accession process takes some time, so the change of the government is nothing extraordinary and nothing we could not handle, with the solid accession process being based on such a or being put on such a strong base as we have the one with Iceland.